The year I chose was 1920. Some inventions that were created during that time was after World War I. Society began to change. Women's appearances had changed. They would wear heavy makeup and wear slightly more revealing clothes. Also, new inventions were created, such as the radio, the automobile, and aviation. Radio were a great source of entertainment. They broadcasted news, the weather, Bible readings, soap operas, crime and Western dramas, comedy, major sports, and advertising for business and music. Radios were a simple invention, affordable for rich and poor. Radios itself have also changed. The radio boxes are used rarely because radios are now installed in cars and there are radio apps on phones. Back in the day, people did not have that much electronic entertainment, so the radio was a big deal to them. Today we have a lot of electronic entertainment such as computers, TVs, and phones, so radios are not the first thing we go to for entertainment. Another creation was the automobile. Henry Ford created the very first car, the Model T. He designed it so it was affordable for the rich and poor. The Model T had a price of $365. Many people benefited with this new invention, such as the tourist industry. The community admired this new invention because it could travel far distances and it was more private than riding public transit. People still use cars the same way they were used in the 1920s. Families take long road trips to tourist attractions and they still prefer it more than public transit because it is more convenient. Lastly, the last invention was aviation. When World War I ended, many Canadians were eager to continue flying. Many of them bought planes so they could fly over country fairs and perform stunts. Pilots were also in charge of spotting forest fires, capturing aerial photography pictures, and completing geological surveys. Just like people in the 1920s, the public watches pilots fly their airplanes performing a variety of stunts. The one thing that has advanced since 1920 is passenger air travel. Many individuals take this advantage to fly to countries around the world for visiting relatives, going on vacation, or for business trips. Airports have been built around the globe for planes to depart and arrive safely. Some events that happened during the 1920s, women gained the right to vote. The women's suffrage movement reached as far back as 1638 when Margaret Brent, a successful businesswoman in Virginia, demanded the right to vote in the state's House of Burgesses. By 1920, every state west of the Mississippi River allowed women to vote. The last yes vote needed for ratification of the 19th Amendment, which provided for women's suffrage, was Tennessee. On August 18, 1920, the Tennessee House of Representatives voted in favor of the amendment by a vote of 50 to 49. Another world event was happening. The mass media was born. In November 1920, the first commercial licensed radio station began broadcasting live results of the presidential election. As word spread of this new medium, the talking box exploded in popularity. The community wrote, no other event of 1920 would have more of an effect on the future than the birth of radio, which was in turn the birth of American mass media. In the 1920s, astronomer Edwin Hubble made discoveries showing that the universe consists of more than just our galaxy and the universe is expanding, which provided the basis for the Big Bang model. Before the 20th century, the 19th century movements of Post-Impressionism, Art Nouveau, and Symbolism led to the first 20th century art movements of Fauvism in France and in Germany. Also, Cubism has been considered the most influential art movement of the 20th century. The movement revolutionized European painting and sculpture and inspired relative movements in music, literature, and architecture.